Takk for at du var med oss her i studio. Du skal få være med litt til. Vi skal nemlig få inn en fascinerende kvinne. Noel Gallagher er også med oss om litt fra Oasis, men nå skal dere få møte Irshad Manji. Hun er selv muslim, men også en av islams sterkeste kritikere. Med fare for sitt eget liv mener hun at det største problemet med islam er muslimene selv. Welcome, Irshad Manji.
You want your cup back?
Yes.
Yes, okay. There you go.
You have to sort that out first.
Exactly.
Irshad Manji, what you're saying in your book is that the biggest problem with Islam are the Muslims.
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that Muslims themselves will actually say that to you behind closed doors. Will never say that publicly, though I am very willing to say it. That, you know, there are so many beautiful verses of the Quran, one of which states, God does not change the condition of a people until they change what is inside themselves. This is a call for self-reform. And while Muslims, my fellow Muslims, are so busy pointing fingers at Israel, at America, at Western colonialism, I ask them, which of these 5 fingers that God has given to most of us on one hand, which of those fingers are you willing to point at yourself? I'm just asking for one. Which one? This is the challenge that we have to own for ourselves now.
It seems like when we are discussing Islam, I mean, journalists or politicians, we are also afraid of insulting or offending someone. Why is that, do you think?
Fear. Which, at least in the English language, is the most destructive 4-letter F word. Fear. And, you know, fear affects so much about how we live our lives. Liberal Muslims are afraid of being open with their views because we fear that Islam supremacists will call us sellouts and traitors. And on the other hand, Islam bashers will call us terrorists in waiting. And on the other hand, progressive non-Muslims are afraid, as you well know, Frederick, of being labeled Islamophobes, bigots, racists, simply for supporting those of us who are calling for universal human rights within the faith of Islam. So there's so many layers of fear.
But how can we know? But how can we know what's offensive and not? What's not?
Well, first of all, why should you care what's offensive or not?
I don't want to offend anyone.
Well,
I mean,
you know what? If I told you, let me tell you this right now. You know, you're offending me right now by, yes, you, handsome Frederick, you are offending me right now by suggesting, and really, this is the implication, let's be honest, that I can't handle the challenging question, that I will melt under the spotlight of your scrutiny. And you know, when I'm told I must respect Muslims, Irshad, I say, good, respect us by treating us as equals, by treating us as peers, not as children. Have faith in my capacity and in, frankly, the public's capacity to think critically. If we avoid the hard questions, Frederick, simply because we don't wish to offend, in fact, what people are doing, I'll say you are doing then, is insulting the intelligence of the general public.
So what you're saying is that we can say what we want and we can draw whatever drawings we'd like to draw?
Sure, why not? Why not? And I say this as a faithful Muslim. The fact is, and you're not going to hear this very often, I know, so I better take my time while I have it. The fact is that the Quran contains many passages that support freedom of expression, freedom of conscience. And so, you know, when I find it very laughable, by the way, when my fellow Muslims say to me, well, you're just, you know, what we say in American English, cherry picking. You are just being very selective about the verses. And I say, yes, I'm very honest about that. The problem is you're not honest about the fact that you're selective too. And you're selective because you're ignoring those passages in the Quran that do support freedom of expression and speech.
You are a feminist, you're gay, and you're also
Muslim.
Is
that a question or a statement?
No, I'm stating.
Oh,
I'm just telling the audience.
I see. Okay.
What is offensive to you? What could be?
Those labels.
Except what I just did.
Yeah. Those labels are offensive to me. But you know what? First of all, because the moment you say you are this and you are that and you are this, assumptions begin. All these labels have baggage that come with them. And then people very often fail to see the complex individual that you are. If, for example, I said, Frederick, you are white, you are male, I don't know this, but I'll assume, for now, you're straight. That's my question. You know, you must think a certain way. It's absurd. It's absurd to assume, either quietly or openly, that, you know, because you have these various labels attached to you, that you must therefore do this.
I shall be careful now, but...
No, you know what? No. Can I just say something? Okay, just one other thing, if I may, okay? Don't be careful.
Okay, I won't be careful. How religious are you?
Okay, I'll answer that in a second.
Yeah.
But when you said earlier, you know, what offends you, and I said labels, I was also going to say, but say it anyway. Say it anyway. Why should it matter that I am offended? In fact, if we're going to, again, have honest conversations that lead to real solutions, and by the way, no solutions that are real can come from dishonest conversations, then frankly offend me so I have a reason to engage with you. So, what was that question again?
The question was, I mean, do you have...
You have difficult people here, don't you?
Now we are 4 hosts here. I just wonder, do you like have a prayer rug? Do you pray 5 times a day?
Yes, well, okay, those are 2 different questions.
Okay.
Yes, I do have a prayer rug. And again, you know, I don't know how my mother feels about this because I actually haven't told her, but what the hell, I'm on, you know, Scandinavian TV, so I'll say it. My prayer rug from childhood is now oriented towards my bookcases, not to Mecca. Because those bookcases are the symbol of the human creativity that God has vested in all of us. For me, this is what is so beautiful about being a creature of this majestic creator. And as for, do you pray 5 times a day? The answer is no. I pray 12 times a day.
On that rug?
Nope. No, I have honest conversations with God. And rather than being told, this is what you must say at this assigned time of the day, washing certain parts of your body and oriented towards one specific direction, Saudi Arabia, which is the very antithesis, the very opposite of the kind of Islam that represents me. Saudi Arabia is the very opposite. You know what's interesting? The Quran says, no matter which way you turn, east or west, there is the face of God. Why then do we need to orient ourselves only to Mecca?
You talk about individual thinking, the group think is the problem.
Groupthink is the problem. That's right, coming right from tribal culture,
but
not from the faith of Islam.
Is it a cultural problem? Is it a religious problem, or is it just a problem, you know, with the society?
Well, first of all, I mean, no society is free of groupthink. And by the way, you know, I've been to Sweden in enough visits to understand that the fear that many Swedes, Muslim and non-Muslim, feel about even touching these kinds of issues does come from a certain groupthink, for sure. Let me just quickly say that it is this fear, this groupthink of avoiding these honest conversations that I believe is really at the heart of what allows, I'm not trying to be partisan here, but that allows an organization like the Sweden Democrats to rise in power. You see, when you avoid the honest questions because you fear offending, you fear how the group, the public, will see you, then you frustrate many voters who do have legitimate questions. Those voters will naturally go to start listening to those marginal politicians who are addressing these questions, and they'll turn the marginal into the mainstream. It's an abdication, a giving up of leadership by the mainstream politicians. This is why, first and foremost, we need to be honest in our conversations. Dump the groupthink, be an individual.
Is this what happens? You've been to Afghanistan a lot with your organization.
10 times I've been there.
Yes, and what is your impression? Is the
well,
problem...
First, I'd like to say to you that I think if you look at the Middle East,
Pakistan, Afghanistan, Taliban, the whole damn thing. 80% of the problems is not religious. It's not the Quran. It is extreme poverty and hopelessness, you see. That was driving the hot spots in the Middle East. When I was sitting in Cairo, we worked a lot with Aswan Dam and so on. I was there quite a lot. I saw 800,000 high school students come out every year. 600,000 out of unemployment. I saw the young men sitting in the cafes of Cairo, hopeless, no future, could not create a family, could not sustain themselves. Easy prey for the Muslim Brotherhood, hating Israel, hating United States. That's poverty and hopelessness. And when we work in Afghanistan, we don't have a problem with Islam. We have, of course, to follow the Quran, and we have the Ayatollah blessing us and all that, you know. You have to, you know, adopt to the culture. But what you need to do is to lift them up of their extreme poverty. If you do that, we can forget about all...
sorry, Percy, we can't forget about...
No, not forget about it.
No, because, can I just say...
Almost forget about it.
The problem with the almost is that it's a very big almost.
20%.
Let's remember that the men who flew those planes into the World Trade Centers, you know, in 2001 were at the very least middle class, and some of them came from very wealthy upper class families.
We have to say goodbye to you now, because we have a lot to talk about.
Please don't leave. I 2009 så gikk brødrene Liam og Noel Gallagher endelig hver til sitt etter år med høylytt konflikt i sitt felles band, det legendariske Oasis. Nå Noel tilbake, mannen The Beatles produsent kaller the finest songwriter of his generation. Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. Maybe I just wanna fly, wanna live but don't wanna die. Maybe I just wanna breathe, maybe I just don't believe. See, forever maybe free, free to spend the whole life running from people who would be the death in me. Please welcome Noel Gallagher. Noel, welcome to Scandinavia.
Thank you very much.
Are you easily offended?
Not really, no. No, I've got quite thick skin. Yeah.
Oh, I see. And how are you with authority? Because we're here with, you know, this is the world's best chess player. And,
so I believe.
And you know, Percy here, he's quite an authority. And
really?
I just wonder how you are with that.
That's right.
I'm in the rock and roll game. So we don't really...
You shouldn't be too comfortable with it.
We don't really have it. Do you know what I mean? We don't apply... Everybody else's rules don't apply, really. Which is why we get into music, because it gives you all that freedom. You don't really have authority.
Was that the problem with you and your brother? None of you were the leader in Oasis?
I think there wasn't just one problem, there were lots of problems, but I think the main one is that we just grew up and became different people. You know, he went one way, I went another, you know, and here we are.
But becoming different people, I mean, you once said, towards the end of your history together, you said, I can't be in a violent rock band.
Yeah, no.
It's quite, I mean, that's more than growing apart.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. But I'm trying to be nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're way past that here now.
Oh, right. So. The reason for me leaving the band was it had got increasingly more violent. But the reason...
I mean, you mean physically violent?
Yeah. There was physical violence. Not by me, I have to add, by
Your
Liam.
brother attacking you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it wasn't really... There was a bit of that, but you know, when they play the rugby and New Zealand do that dance, the haka, he would do that a lot.
In the studio?
Yeah, but in a violent kind of way. Do you know what I mean? And you'd be just like, well, you know, whatever. But the reason for that was because we grew up and became different people. And, you know, I have my own universe, he has his.
And I remember you were hailed as... I mean, you were hailed as the new Lennon McCartney. You alone.
That's right.
And you sort of... I also remember you sort of confirmed it.
Well, I couldn't decide which one I was.
So both were okay.
So I took both, yeah.
And how was that for your brother?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I don't know.
But wasn't that
But
the part of the problem? You getting all the credibility and the...
Yeah, but he got all the women. And credibility's fine, you know. But really, at the end of the day,
Well, you know,
what are we
when
all
you
in
get
this
older,
for?
yeah.
Women, really.
Agreed.
And greed? No, we're not in it for greed. We're
No,
not
no, no.
greedy.
I said agreed. I
Oh,
agreed.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. There we go.
I won't say anything about that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I don't want to start, you know, with this debate about...
Oh, I see. Okay. As long as
offending...
it's not because... Wow, there we go. Okay.
I will offend you later. I will find some way to offend you. But...
Please. Please.
Yeah, you have two sons yourself.
I do. Yeah.
And I wonder what would you teach them about brotherly love?
Well, it's up to them. I'm not the kind of... I hope not to be the kind of parent that would force my upbringing or onto them in any way. They've got to decide for themselves. Do you know what I mean? I hope that they'll grow up and not be in a band together, so it would be all right. Do you know what I mean? If they could both be solo, that would be great. But
Do they fight?
not yet. No, one of them's 4, and one of them's 1. The 4-year-old is just working out how he can conquer the world, and the 1-year-old is trying to catch the cat.
This is you and Liam all over again.
Well, it's a battle of wills between man and beast, you see. And if you can get hold of that cat, he'll kill him.
Is it true that you considered calling your son Sven? The Swedish name Sven?
I may have made that as a joke in an interview, yeah.
Because of the football trainer?
Yeah. Oh, he's great. He's a legend. I love him.
Sven is
he
called
here?
here. Yeah, well, he's not here now, but
I'd kiss him on the face if I ever seen him.
Oh, really? So you're that...
We loved him at City, yeah.
I see.
Absolutely loved him.
But let's talk about Manchester football, because football is, I mean, that's what we think of when we think about Manchester, where you come from. Well, yeah, and of course you.
Thank you.
And as far as I understand, there are 2 teams.
No.
Well, you have Manchester United and you have Manchester City.
Yeah, we have Manchester City and then some other team.
Yeah, okay. So I understand that Manchester City is your team.
Yeah. Yeah, the other lot, they're not actually from Manchester.
Okay.
They're from outside the city limits.
Are you interested in football?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Manchester United.
Oh, I see. So what's so good about that team?
Nothing.
He asked me the question. They're winning the league every year.
Simple as that.
As an example.
They win.
And they will win it again this year.
Rubbish.
So power equals success?
No, but they play good football. I like them.
They are. They do play good football, but they are evil. Everybody hates them, except that guy over there who supports them.
Yeah. But
he's got more money than sense.
What did he say?
He said you have more money than sense.
tough guy.
You got a rowdy crowd up on stage
Yeah,
tonight.
I'm actually thinking of going
Talk
home now.
about it outside.
I wonder. You yourself described it as the last great rock and roll band.
Well, traditional rock and roll band, yeah.
So what about the bands today?
Well, what I meant by that was, we came along before the internet and before mobile phones and camera phones and all that, and social networking and all that kind of thing. So if you wanted to see our band, you had to be there in the room. There was no... If you wanted our records, you had to go to a record shop, a real record shop, and go and buy these things called records. It's all changed now with the internet. You know, you can get music downloaded directly into your brain, you know, and that's if you even consider paying for it at all. Do you know what I mean? And we were the last big... I think we'll be the last big traditional band that'll ever come out of England like that.
Going solo,
Yeah.
do you ever... I mean, you've done a very critically acclaimed album now, which and we are gonna hear a song from it in just a few minutes. I wonder, did you ever miss your brother in that studio?
I'm gonna miss him when I get on stage. Not tonight, not now, you know, but when I finally get on tour. Because in the studio is one thing, you get, you know, I enjoyed that on my own because I could work at my own pace and with the musicians I wanted to work with. But I've never done a tour where I've been the front man before, and I don't think I've got... I think you're born to be a front man. I don't think you can just turn it on at 45, you know. It'll take me till I'm 65 to nail it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to... Because I used to just love standing at the side, playing the electric guitar really loud. And I loved it, and now I'm going to have to kind of strum and sing. I'm saying that, I don't have to.
Would you consider asking him?
No.
But perhaps in a few years.
I haven't seen him for 2 years.
Well, give my regards if you see him.
I will do.
Your band is waiting for you, and we so much look forward to listen to you.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great having you. And thank you, Magnus. Thank you, Irshad, and thank you, Percy. Well, PJ Harvey. PJ Harvey er med oss neste uke. Men her er altså Noel Gallaghers High Flying Birds. Dette er The Death of You and Me.
High tide. En ung mann som blir hardt skadd i kollisjon mellom sykkel og bil og blir lam fra livet og ned, blir sporløst borte. Dermed har Jack Malone og teamet hans en ny sak straks.